Hey everybody, today I am talking about shore excursions and making a michelada. So as you can see, there's a lot that goes into a michelada. If you haven't had one before, they're just so good. And a lot of times they're different everywhere you go, but most Mexican restaurants are gonna have them on the menu. And you may normally overlook it, but if you haven't tried it, it's just unlike anything else. It's kind of, I guess, similar to a Bloody Mary, but you've got the beer instead, so it gives a completely different flavor, because I don't actually like Bloody Marys and I love micheladas. Of course, I love everything I think that comes from Mexico, so. But I did want to talk about today, first off, it's got the Mexican beer, which this one is from Mazatlan. I've been talking about Mexico this week, and Mazatlan is one of the stops on the cruise ships that you can visit, so I thought I'd grab that one. We've got soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, tomato juice. This is a blend of some like flaky salt and this tahin, which is really good too on a lot of different things if you haven't had it. You can even put it like fruit, cantaloupes, pineapple. My brother-in-law introduced me to this several years ago, and I have loved it ever since. Something's crawling on me. And then of course some lime. So I wanted to talk about shore excursions today, because a lot of times you might know exactly what you're going to do. You might know exactly what you want in a shore excursion, and there's no question to be had. Book it, go on your merry way. There are some cruise companies where you can actually book them as soon as you book, and there's some that you can't book until your final payment. There's some that have specific time limits. So just be aware when you're looking, but as soon as you're able to, you want to go ahead and book those short excursions, because they do sell out. A lot of them are not, very big. Not a lot of people can go, especially some of the ones that may be a little bit more catered to smaller groups. So like I talked about whale watching in Cabo this week, and for whale watching, obviously it depends on the size ship that you're going to be on, or the size boat that you're going to be on, and it could be some little tiny boat that only takes 5 people, but you get to get a lot more up close, or go in certain coves that other ones can't go in. So it's something that you want to remember and pay attention to before you go, because you don't want to miss out, especially like if you're going to Alaska. A lot of times those really book up quick. If you want to take like a helicopter ride, that's one of the first things to go, so be thinking about that too. Also, this has ice in it, so it just takes a little bit of a lot of these things in each one. One other thing to think about, I can't talk and drip at the same time. One other thing to think about is the age of everybody in your group. So if you are going with kids, you want to remember there might be age limits on certain shore excursions. There might be size limits on certain shore excursions. So don't accidentally book something and then find out once you're on board that you can't actually take your kids. Or if you want to think about, if you're traveling with any senior citizens and it's a lot of walking, or for that matter just somebody who's not in great shape and it's a kayaking trip, obviously they might get really tired, or you want to make sure that somebody is stronger enough to keep going wherever you are going to go. I speak from experience on this one, because in Mexico actually we did do a kayaking. It was like underneath, like it was through a cave, and it was beautiful and really fun and a little scary, because you weren't sure if there were going to be bats or large fish or different things that you might see there. But I got really tired, so Lee had to take a lot of the brunt of the work, and of course that's what you expect your husband to do. But I felt kind of embarrassed, not to be able to keep going, because my arms were so sore by the end of it. And obviously you can't just stop. You're in the middle of a cove and you're stuck there, and you've got to keep going. This year for my birthday, when we went to Belgium, we climbed a clock tower, and I thought I was gonna die by the time I got to the top of that thing. Now, it was well worth it, 100%. I would do it all over again. Probably one of the most memorable things that we did on our trip. When you get up to that top of the clock tower, you can see everywhere. They've got all these little lines, kind of like when you go to Chattanooga and you can see what you're seeing, telling you all these famous cities that are all over the place. You get to hear the bells ringing up there. So it was an amazing thing that I'm glad I did, but I was so worn out. So think about that, especially when you have people that maybe can't walk as far or maybe can't climb something to go behind a waterfall, stuff like that. One other thing I do want to say too that you may want to think about is the groups of people that are going to be going. So like, I love the idea of the Jeep excursions, but you have to know that you're going to be following in a long line of people that are all going to be going the same places in the Jeeps. So it's a little bit, and back to the drink for a second, you just basically all the little bits of ingredients, then you're going to fill it up the rest of the way with beer, Mexican beer specifically. I think I will open another one, and then a little lime juice on top of it. So anyway, if you are traveling in one of those type of excursions where you have a lot of people, you just may want to think about that, if that's okay with you, because I don't love traveling with a lot of people doing the same things. Like, there's certain things, if you're going to the beach, you know, jump on a bus with everybody, find your beach chair with everybody, you know, it's no big deal. But there are certain things that you may not want everyone to be doing the exact same thing with you, and so just something to consider. And I'd be happy to help if it's something that you're thinking about. I can give examples of, or things that we might have done that's similar, or things that I heard of people doing when I worked directly for the cruise lines. But that is definitely something that may weigh on your decision. And then the last thing is whether or not you go with the cruise ship or not. There is a lot of safety in going with the cruise ship, of course, and you may choose to do that because you know that the cruise ship is going to know where you're going to be, that they'll obviously be waiting on a whole group of people to come back instead of just you out with a random person, or you being relied upon to get yourself back on the ship in time. But if you make sure that you can handle that, there are a lot of other things that you can be doing, like with like tours by locals. We've used them several times, where you can book a tour with a specific person, and you know, they'll make sure that you get back. And we've done this in Mexico as well. We actually did it in Ensenada, and it was a really fun day. He got us back no problem. Now, we do, when we book with an individual like that, we do book with the intention of coming back early, so that if there is any traffic or problems getting back, you know, you've got plenty of time. So your day might be a little bit shorter, but you can be certain that you have no troubles. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if I can book your next vacation, and I would love to give you any examples more, like Viator or other places that we've used, like tour companies that we've used. I'm pretty familiar with most of those, so if you are interested in booking outside of a cruise ship, I can help with that too. So cheers. I'm a little scared that this is maybe going to be really spicy because of the amount of hot sauce that I put in it. I don't think I mentioned has hot sauce in it. But I hope y'all have a great weekend. See you soon. Ooh, I did good. Lee might not get the other one of this one tonight. Bye.